All right, listen up. I hit $1 million net worth on a 48 grand salary. I didn't win the lottery, marry into money, or juggle 23 side gigs until my eyes crossed. My secret? I simply followed one 3-part formula so mind-bogglingly simple that honestly, I almost dismissed it the first time I heard it. It felt too easy, too obvious. But today, I'm pulling back the curtain, walking you through the exact 50-30-20 breakdown I used. The real numbers that moved the needle, the facepalm mistakes that cost me thousands, and the clever tweaks that shaved years, literally years, off my timeline. If you've ever stared at your paycheck and thought, there's no way real wealth can be built on this, then you absolutely need to stick around. Because I'm living, breathing proof that the math absolutely works if you're willing to work the math. Solution 1, the broke backstory. Picture this for a second. I'm 26 years old. It's the dead of a brutal Chicago winter, -5 degrees outside, and after rent cleared, my checking account was staring back at me with a pathetic -$12. Yup, -12. I had what most people would call a good job as an office coordinator, decent benefits, steady paycheck, and zero debt, which was a win, right? But despite all that, I felt like I was constantly drowning, just treading water, barely keeping my head above the financial surface. Every finance blog, every guru, every well-meaning relative screamed the same advice. Just make more money. But here's the thing, I actually like my job, and let's be real. I was absolutely terrible at coding, so a tech boot camp wasn't exactly on the horizon for me. I felt like I was on a financial treadmill, running faster and faster just to stay in the same place. What finally flipped the switch, what genuinely changed everything, was stumbling upon a random Reddit thread. Some guy there claimed he had saved his first $100K on a $55K income using this obscure thing called the 50-30-20 rule. My curiosity was piqued. I immediately Googled the rule, opened a blank spreadsheet, and with a healthy dose of skepticism, decided to test it for 12 months. That first year, I saved a staggering $6 grand more than the previous 5 years combined. For the first time, I felt genuine traction, like I was finally moving forward instead of just spinning my wheels. It was a revelation. Section 2 in plain English. So, what is this magical rule? Think of your take-home pay not as one big pile of cash, but as a bucket of water. The 50-30-20 rule simply gives you 3 smaller buckets to pour it into. The biggest bucket, 50%, is for your needs. This is the water that keeps you alive. Rent, utilities, groceries, transportation, insurance, all the non-negotiables. Then the next bucket, 30%, is for your wants. This is the fun bucket. Netflix, dining out, weekend trips, hobbies. It's the small stuff that adds flavor to life, but isn't strictly essential. And finally, the last 20% bucket, that's for your future. This waters the seed of your financial freedom, your emergency fund, retirement accounts, investments, or extra debt payments. That's it. Seriously, you're not trying to sort your money into 80 different thimbles. You just have 3 main buckets. The real magic here isn't the categories themselves, it's the hard limit, the built-in constraint that forces you to prioritize. It's simplicity with profound power. Section 3, tweaking the percentages. Now let's be real, when I first started, Chicago rent alone drank up a whopping 45% of my pay. So a strict 50-30-20 looked utterly impossible. It felt like trying to fit a watermelon into a mail slot. But here's the workaround. The rule is a compass, not a cage. Its job is to point you north, not build you a prison. Within my needs, instead of a pricey 1-bedroom apartment, I opted to rent a bedroom in a shared apartment. Big difference in cost, big win for my budget. Within my wants, I swapped an expensive gym membership for free YouTube HIIT workouts. Trust me, they're just as brutal. And cut restaurant meals to a couple of times a month, making them a treat. And for savings, I didn't start with 20%, I started with 10%, then committed to raising it by 2% every quarter. 2 years later, my savings rate sat at a robust 24%. The key is to bend the rule to fit your life, not break yourself to fit the rule. Adjusting the percentages is part of the journey, not a sign of failure. Section 4, automation that sticks. Behavioral scientists call it the path of least resistance. I just call it set it and forget it. Think of it like setting up automatic sprinklers for your financial garden. The moment my paycheck hits my main checking hub, a series of automated transfers kick in. 20% immediately zooms off to a high-yield savings account, and then every Monday, a portion of that automatically moves into my Vanguard index funds. The beautiful result, I never actually see the money earmarked for my future. It's out of sight, out of mind, and safely working for me. Because I never see it, I never miss it. When friends hit me up for last-minute Vegas trips, the cash simply isn't available in my spendable accounts to say yes. And that is the point. Automation is the ultimate guardrail, protecting you from your own worst impulses. It makes consistent saving the default setting, no willpower required. Section 5, living the frugal 5-year sprint. Now, when people hear frugal, they often picture extreme deprivation, like being a hermit who reuses tea bags. But for me, it was more like being a value hunter. It was a strategic game of refusing to pay full price for things that didn't bring me true, lasting value. I embraced thrift store suits that looked perfectly sharp, devoured library Kindle books instead of buying them, relied on city bike shares instead of owning a car, and happily kept roommates well into my 30s. These weren't just penny-pinching tactics. They were strategic wealth moves. My housing costs alone dropped from 45% to a much more manageable 22% of my income. Every single dollar I saved wasn't just stuffed under a mattress. Oh no. It was immediately invested, put to work earning more money for me. That focused 5-year sprint funded a $100K portfolio by the time I was 31. And from there, compound interest did the heavy lifting. Frugality isn't about being cheap. It's about being smart and prioritizing freedom over fleeting luxuries. Section 6, income upgrades without job hopping. I genuinely liked my company, so instead of job hopping, I decided to grow where I was planted. I proactively asked for cross-training, made myself indispensable by becoming the go-to Excel nerd, and strategically collected 3 promotions in 6 years. My salary jumped from 48 grand to 72 grand. But here's the crucial part. My lifestyle stayed almost exactly the same. Think of your income and your spending as 2 separate lines on a graph. The goal is to make the income line go up while keeping the spending line flat. Every single pay bump, every extra dollar went straight into that gap between the 2 lines and then directly into my brokerage account. My wants budget stayed relatively flat, so my savings rate effectively leaped to an incredible 35%. The lesson is simple. Widen the gap between what you earn and what you spend, then consistently park that difference where it can work for you. Section 7, investing the gap. Think of cash sitting in a savings account. What is it? A melting ice cube, slowly losing its power to inflation. So once my emergency fund had 6 months of expenses, a non-negotiable safety net, every surplus dollar went straight into broad market index funds like VTI and VXUS. Investing that money was like planting seeds instead of just storing them. Cash in a bank is a seed in a jar, safe but not growing. Cash invested is a seed in fertile soil with the potential to grow into a massive tree. No trying to pick the next Amazon, no chasing hot crypto tips, just consistent, boring investing. Dollar cost averaging every payday meant I automatically bought shares during the 2018 dip, the terrifying 2020 crash, and the 2021 rally without trying to time anything. My average annual return? A solid 9.3%. The $1 million milestone arrived at 37. It wasn't about being a stock market genius. It was about being a relentlessly consistent farmer, letting time and compound interest do their thing. Section 8, the millionaire math. Ready for the simple math? Think of compounding like starting a tiny snowball at the top of a very long hill. If you consistently invest $500 a month, pushing that snowball. At a 9% annual return, you'll cross the $1 million mark in about 32 years. By then, the snowball is rolling on its own, getting bigger and faster. Now imagine you pump that up to $1,250 a month, which is easier as your income grows, and suddenly that snowball becomes an avalanche in just 21 years. My personal path landed somewhere in the middle, roughly $900 a month on average, boosted by lump sum bonuses. The powerful truth is that these numbers don't require a Wall Street salary. They simply demand Wall Street consistency. It's about showing up and letting the magic of that rolling snowball do its work. CTA 1 free resource. Hey, if you're serious about getting started and want the exact Google Sheet I use to track every paycheck, categorize every expense, and celebrate every net worth milestone, then grab the link in the description below. It's absolutely free, no email gate, no strings attached. Just copy it, make it your own, and start tracking your journey today. Section 9, 3 pitfalls that almost sank me. All right, let's talk about the landmines I almost stepped on. Number 1, lifestyle creep. My first big raise felt like a green light to lease a shiny new Subaru, but a quick calculation showed that one move would act like a financial anchor, costing me an estimated $180K in future wealth from the payments not being invested. I kept my beat-up Civic for another 8 years, and it was one of the best financial decisions I ever made. Number 2, trying to outsmart the market. The hubris. I dabbled in individual tech stocks, convinced I could pick the next winner. Trying to pick winning stocks is like trying to catch lightning in a bottle. I got burned by an earnings miss, watched my portfolio plummet, and crawled back to my trusty index funds with a painful 18% loss. And number 3, the comparison trap. Social media will effortlessly convince you that everyone else is living a movie montage. The reality, most are either embellishing the truth, drowning in debt, or got a head start. It's like comparing your first day at the gym to a professional bodybuilder. I learned to stay in my own lane and focus on my own progress. Your journey is your own. Section 10, mindset upgrades. Wealth building is about 25% knowledge and 75% psychology. It's like physical fitness. Knowing the right exercises is the easy part. The real work is the discipline and mindset to actually do them consistently. I practice something called gratitude stacking. Every night, I jot down one purchase I resisted and one asset I owned. Over time, my brain began to link delayed gratification with a genuine hit of dopamine. I also scheduled no-spend weekends twice a month. The forced constraint didn't feel like deprivation. It sparked creativity. We'd organize potlucks, explore free museums, or go on long bike rides. It wasn't about spending less, it was about living more richly with less money. The ultimate truth, money isn't the end goal. Freedom is the goal. And that sense of freedom feels priceless. Section 11, your next 30-day challenge. All right, enough talk, time for action. Here's your 30-day challenge. Tonight, open your banking app, average your last 3 months of take-home pay, then apply the 50-30-20 rule. If 20% savings feels like trying to jump over a skyscraper, that's okay. Start with 5%. Then identify and cancel just one recurring subscription you forgot about. Finally, automate one tiny investment. Set up an auto transfer for $25 into a low-fee index fund every Monday. Think of it as laying one single brick. It seems small, but if you lay one brick perfectly every day, you'll eventually build a fortress. Small, repeatable actions beat big, unsustainable efforts every single time. Start small, but start now. If you're ready for more videos showing average income folks exactly how to punch above their financial weight and build real wealth, then hit that subscribe button right now. And please drop a comment below with the percentage you're currently saving this month. And let's keep each other accountable and celebrate our progresses together. Look, I'm not special. I don't have some innate financial genius. What I do have is consistency. The 50-30-20 rule handed me a clear, actionable roadmap, a blueprint for financial success. But the real secret was deciding that this roadmap mattered more than the fleeting temptations of the mall or that new car smell. It was a choice made day after day. So here's my challenge to you. Start where you are, use what you have, and let the incredible power of time and consistency do the heavy lifting. A decade from now, you'll either be incredibly glad you began this journey today, or you'll still be telling yourself that wealth is only for the lucky few. Choose the glad version. I promise it's worth it. I'll see you on the millionaire side.